seat. The emergency exits are located in the aft over the wings, and in the forward part of the cabin, they are all marked with
Please use some kind of reflex on your clothing when you're out walking. If I don't see you and I hit you and I run over you, okay. If you don't have a reflex, I got an excuse. So please use reflex. Cheap insurance also. Except from that, I'll say, yeah, the temperature is rising, and that's not.
Hello,
morning.
morning.
Can I have your number?
312.
So you slow down and then stand on it with full your weight and hold the brake during all time of a stop. At that moment when you get up from a brake, dogs start to run. Usually they wait and start moving before a second. They start slow down all the time.
Wow. They are just following us.
Yes, yes. But we are a little bit faster now, so we will need to slow down and keep dogs on feet, but if you have a lot of young dogs,
Like
little
horse.
bit slower.
Yeah. Like this?
So our main point is to keep dogs on the light gallop or better on the trot. But now we are and number one, the black one. Good, good, good.
The landscape.
Outside of Ghana, start area for all. So like okay, stop because next team want to switch the driver. More? Yeah, stop. Stop.
Beautiful. He wants to go here, the first to the left. He's trying to break out all the time. No, no, this is not for you. No, no, this is not for you. What? Can you just walk out there? Huh?
It's like
Why?
what?
And here too. Here, the hat. Want to see the hat?
Oh, there's a head? No. There's nothing.
have you done?
With the food, I explained the history and the system of the production of this type of wine. Okay, enjoy. The wine, not the wine. It's a very interesting combination.
I think I guess you're good with the wine, or yeah?
Yes.
just a little traffic jam på grunn av det der.
Ja. Det ser ut som mange først. Det er kanskje vanlig. Yay. Der. Fyr han til. Ja, takk. Ja, veldig bra. Da må dere ha en fin dag.
We're going through here, but it's just a bit of a detour. And then there's a lot of snow here, as you can see. But there's going to in Kolsdalen, which is a section of the trip, it's going to be a bit rocky. But there, and then there's statistically there's one death by avalanche every 2 years. And everyone stops here before starting the next one. As you said, like it's very wind blown. And there you can see that it is very windy. It's been cold since September. I'm almost hoping we might see a bit of sun when we get to Grøndalen or Bergen, if we get south enough. The sun is supposed to get back into town around 15 to 16, so in 26.
Hvordan er terrenget her nå?
Det er greit på vei oppover. Det blir en person som kan være tricky når vi kommer til å gå ned i bakken på andre siden, men det vi har hatt hittil. Ja, det er ikke så veldig teknisk, den oppoverbakken. Og det er et spor som man følger. Det var en fører som bodde her. abandoned. Like you would have a town somewhere and then you would just like be done with it and then you would just leave it. You would sit in Folks Bay every month and I think it would have been the same with Svea if Svea didn't have as much coal left.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Ja, ser du det?
Jag säger bara, ha lite stackt.
Ja.
Du kan gå helt exakt, det är så sant.
So what did the tourists say when you serve them this? Like from China or?
With China, then I'm really careful because it has happened that with a friend of mine that he had to talk about it, everything, and so we're gonna eat his food, so just and it's like or maybe doing the round trip during the day and then just going back.
Ingen chans. Alltså, ingen chans.
Det är ju nästan helt.
Nej. Det var enda mindre. Ja. Det var sån, det var verkligen chockat.